Most people live their whole life feeling completely empty, and then they wonder why they're feeling lost. What if the real you, the version of you that you were meant to become, is hiding behind discomfort, maybe heartbreak, and discipline? I used to always try and fit in, but now I'm living a life where I feel fulfilled and free. And I'm going to explain step by step how you can do the exact same thing. The first thing you need to do is leave your comfort zone to grow. And I know people talk about this all the time, but what does that actually mean? The journey of self-discovery begins when you leave your environment, whether that is in the UK, like I was from, or wherever it might be. You need to leave your environment, even if it's not leaving the UK entirely. You need to leave the environment that you're feeling comfortable in if you really want to grow. At the moment, I'm in Vietnam right now, which I know is very different to the UK. I've done a lot of traveling over the last couple of years, and this is really something that's put me out of my comfort zone. But most importantly, it's made me grow so much as a person, as an entrepreneur, that business owner. If you are an entrepreneur, you are the bottleneck of your business. If you're not growing, then your business is not going to grow. A big part of me leaving for Thailand last year, leaving the UK, going to Thailand on my big trip, was of course to see more of the world and have a good trip. And I didn't want to be in the UK, but a big part of it was leveling up as a person, as an entrepreneur. You are the bottleneck of the business. If you aren't growing as a person, your business is not growing either. So you need to remember that. You need to be picking up new knowledge, new skills to keep your business growing. You need to grow as fast as your business is growing. And I wanted to escape the UK, my regular thought patterns. I needed to leave that version of me behind, that version where a few years before would have been drinking in the week, even on the weekends, doing God knows what. And even though I wasn't doing that anymore, I needed to leave that version of me behind and unlock that next level of me and really grow and go through new situations and grow outside my comfort zone. And that brings me on to my next point of alcohol. And I hardly drink anymore. I don't think I'll ever drink ever again, to be honest with you. I don't want to label myself as sober necessarily, because who knows. But I used to drink multiple days per week, every single week, especially in that office job in London, and it really messes up your mind. And you might be not realizing it, but a lot of the time you're drinking because of either a habit or an emotion. So are you drinking maybe to disguise your pain? Maybe, for me, I think I was drinking a lot because I really just didn't like my job in London, and I was drinking a lot to cover that and make myself think that I do enjoy it. And it's a big part of the culture there as well. So it was, of course, a habit too. I think it's really important to discover who you actually are, to be able to sit with your thoughts and not just mask them with substances. If you really want to get to that next level and live a life of passion and purpose, fulfillment, you need to really understand who you are as a person. And all these things are just masking that and not allowing you to understand who you truly are and the way that you think. And yes, definitely, creativity is very important, and creativity can be born from pain, but these substances are just masking your pain. They're not doing anything for you. You're not actually getting through that pain. You need to work on yourself. You need to level up, go in a new environment, and that's how you're going to get rid of that pain and channel that into a passion, something you really care about. And that's how you're going to really discover who you are, rather than just masking those feelings with some substances. And a big part of discovering yourself, my next point, is journaling. And I used to think this was a load of rubbish, to be honest with you. I think, a lot of people think it's some sort of hippie thing. You don't need to necessarily be writing down some really soppy things about how you're feeling and just drown in your feelings and feel sorry for yourself. That's not what this is about. It's about regulating your emotions, understanding how you're feeling as a person, as a business owner, as a human, and channeling those emotions in the right way. So you want to write down what you're thinking, and you're always thinking about things in your mind. You're talking to yourself. You need to get those thoughts written down and get that clear headspace so you can actually operate on a higher level. There's been so many times where I've maybe been feeling stressed or overwhelmed, and I've been writing this down, and you can track these cycles over time, realizing what's been happening within your life and understanding why you feel like that. Maybe some of the things that you can actually fix and do something about. And that's what journaling does for me. is it enables me to realize these patterns, and rather than just thinking about why you feel negative or a certain way, you can actually do something about it and take action. No one likes someone who just moans about how they're feeling with no action plan in place. And that's what journaling does for you. Yes, you might be feeling negative or stressed or something right now, but by writing this stuff down and having clarity on it, you can actually do something about it and move forwards. For example, if you're journaling that you're stressed and maybe you've written down that you didn't have a great sleep the night before, or maybe you've had a few days where you haven't been disciplined, you haven't been completing the tasks that you said you were going to do, you haven't been sticking to your nutrition, all these things you can pick up in journaling, look back, reflect and see, oh, that's why I'm feeling like that, and it gives you an action plan so you can fix it. The next part of discovering your authentic self is having challenges. And this is why things like going to the gym is so powerful, and everyone should be going to the gym, of course they should. But it's not just those types of challenges that you've got comfortable with, it's stepping into new challenges. So going to a completely different country, as I said, here in Vietnam right now, or whether you are doing a new sport, something you're not comfortable with. Something for me recently was getting back into Muay Thai, doing a lot more sparring and learning how to fight. That was something that was very uncomfortable for me at the start, as it is for anyone that's new to that type of thing. And I knew I was uncomfortable with it, and of course there are those thoughts of like, oh, maybe I'll just go back to the gym and I don't really think this is for me. But I knew it was uncomfortable and I leaned into that. What can you do that makes you feel uncomfortable that you can stick with and level up as a person? Because having action on this stuff is how you create self-confidence. You go through these challenges and you realize that you can achieve them and succeed through those adversities, and that's how you build confidence, not just as a person but as a business owner. With any challenges that you face in the future, you're used to that feeling and you know that you can solve problems. So think about it. What challenges, what don't you want to do right now? Think about something, do it, challenge yourself and commit to sticking with that, because that resilience builds strength over time. I'm going to talk about solitude next because I think it's necessary to grow. I think this is maybe a controversial one. Maybe you're used to always having people around you, but I've been living by myself for almost the last couple of years now. I haven't been with my family. I was always with my family before and very close to my family. And living in solitude, of course, it's uncomfortable for some people. And yes, it's like a little bit weird at the start if you're not used to it. But I really think that if you're not used to sitting with your own thoughts, as I was saying before with the journaling, you don't know who you truly are as a person. And maybe if you're feeling negative, you just go and chill with some people. You go and chill with your family and let people cheer you up, which is obviously great. And I'm not saying be miserable, but also solitude I think is very, very important to really understand your feelings and really improve as a person, understand where those feelings are coming from, but not just sitting in those negative feelings, creating solutions to those and really finding out why you feel like that way, because there's a reason for everything in this world and there's a reason you're feeling that way. So if you can stop just masking that, whether it is with substances or some activity even, or seeing people, if you can uncover that, you can actually create a solution for it and then live a more fulfilled life in the long term. So stop burying your problems in noise, whatever that noise might be, and start actually doing something about it. The next step to uncovering your authentic self is realizing that nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about you or what you're doing. So many people think that they are the main character. Everyone's the main character of their own journey. No one's thinking about you, they're thinking about themselves and what you think about them. They're not thinking about you. So realize this and lean into this and realize that you can release that fear of judgment, because that's where true creativity and fulfillment lies, is just speaking about what you want to speak about and doing the things that you actually believe in. And this is going to attract the people that you want in your life by living in alignment. If you're speaking about things that you don't believe in, you're going to attract those people that you don't actually really want to work with. So think about this, be yourself, speak how you want to speak, embrace those quirks and those things that maybe you see as a weakness and use them as strengths. Think about, okay, what makes me unique, and lean into that, because otherwise everyone's going to be the same and you're going to not stand out from the crowd and you're going to be the same as every single other person out there. And the last thing I want to speak about is discipline, because this is really what unlocks freedom. I think people get it the other way around. They think that if you're disciplined, you're not living a life of freedom. But if you have these structures in place, if you live your life in routine, whatever that might look like for you, If you're sticking to these non-negotiable habits that you know are going to make you successful, that's how you live this life of freedom. If I wasn't disciplined, I would not be able to be traveling the world and running my online business as I am today. It's these disciplines and these behaviors that drive growth. Not being undisciplined, not having no structure to your life. If you live that way, yes, you might feel free in the moment, but long term, you're not going to be free because you're not going to be growing, you're not going to be leveling up through the benefits that come with discipline. Discipline and structure allows you to have consistent effort in your life and keep pushing forwards. And if you don't have that, you're not going to have growth. Consistency really is key. As much as it's maybe cringy or, everyone says it all the time, consistency is so important. And if you don't have that discipline, if you don't have the structures, consistency is so much more difficult for you. And at the end of the day, it comes down to self-respect. If you have discipline, you're going to have a lot more respect for yourself. I really think that this is the cornerstone of happiness and fulfillment in your life. You need to have these things if you really want to be enjoying how you're living your life on a day-to-day basis. So if you apply these things I've said today, you're going to be able to unlock that authentic self. And if you want to know how I'm here, just taking this video in Vietnam whilst running my online fitness business, I've put a complete video together already on how to scale your business to 10K months, and just copy me so you can do exactly the same thing but faster. Click the link somewhere around this video here. And other than that, guys, it's been a pleasure, and I'll see you in the next one.